Hey, what's up guys? Thank you so much for tuning in, and today we are going to be doing something very similar to what we did in the last video, which is making a kukri knife. One of you guys saw that video and said, hey, I want a kukri too, and I would love one hand forged by you, Jake. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna start to hammer on another kukri. However, it's not gonna be made out of a pry bar like that last one is. Instead, this time, it's gonna be made out of one of this. Now this is 5160 spring steel. Ow, it's hot, it was sitting in my truck. So it's 5160 spring steel. This is not the content idea that I had for this week. This week, we were gonna be working on this. This is my sword build, and I am excited to make this. However, we're gonna put this on hold because the car payment is due and I need to get that done. So this sword probably gonna take a little too long, and also I don't wanna sell it. This is my sword. But this knife, we're gonna make it for one of my friends. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're gonna do today. Okay, so we're looking at it, and you can see right here, it actually says made in Mexico. So this is Mexican steel, just like me. It does have like a distal taper on it right here towards the bottom, but it's very thick up here towards the center. So what I'm thinking we're gonna do is we're gonna draw in You might be saying, Jake, that is the worst drawn kukri I've ever seen in my life. You have a point, but what we're gonna do actually is cut this out with an angle grinder and then forge it, we're gonna draw it out, forge it to the shape we want, and then grind on it to make it into something that's a little bit more kukri-like. So like I said, the steel, very, very thick. We're gonna have a lot of room to work with back here towards the handle section. Now we have, ow, still hot, this basic kukri shape kind of cut out. As you can see, we have a handle back here and a nice big belly over here. So what we're gonna do is hammer this round and up into the tip and then draw this out. There is so much steel here. Look at how thick this is. That must be like a 1/2 inch steel. And we're probably gonna forge that down to about like, I don't know, quarter inch. Quarter inch is still a pretty thick knife, so we have plenty of room to work with here. We're gonna, oh, I just saw a cool bird. We're gonna go ahead and wait for it to cool off a little bit. I'm gonna drink some water because it is hot over here in the Southwest. So yeah, let's let it cool off and we'll get to hammering. I'm gonna go hydrate. Yesterday, we ended up having a Magic the Gathering date, me and my wife, and it was hot and I felt like taking a break. So went there, played Magic, drank some monsters, you know, sugar-free white monsters. So we're gonna get back to work on this. As of right now, oops. This whole thing as of right now is about 8 inches at the belly, I would say. You guys call that 8 inches? So we're gonna go ahead and draw that out to about 10 inches and get this handle. This is gonna be a much bigger kukri. But yeah, let's go ahead and light the forge and get hammering on this. It is about 100 degrees outside right now, so this is gonna be a nightmare, but it needs to get done. So here we go. a rough shape hammered out. I think this handle is just very, very comfortable. We're gonna go ahead and make a finger whirl inside of there. We have a nice large belly, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna end up grinding some of this tip off just to make it a little bit shorter. This is a huge knife right now, but nothing wrong with that. So we're looking good. I have to go to work now, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to put this in the forge and let it bake in there like a sauna. This is called the, what's it called? It's when you soften the steel. So basically what we're gonna do is soften the steel. Usually what I do is put it in a vermiculite bucket. However, this is a huge freaking knife. So we're gonna put it in the forge, turn on both burners, let it get up to about 2,000, 2,300 degrees, and then turn off the forge and leave it in there until we're ready to start grinding on this blade. I'm so fucking sweaty right now. Boom. What's up, guys? Good to see everybody. So we're here at our second day of this Kukri build. I now have a mustache. So yeah, now I have a mustache. Yeah, just felt like it. I had a little rash going on under my beard, which sucks when you do jujitsu and you get like pimples and shit under your beard. Yeah, I just had to cut it off and decided to treat my wife to a mustache. And the third thing is this. Now, this Kukri that we have here has a 10-inch blade and about a 4.5-inch handle. I have a pretty big hand, so this handle is very comfortable for me. We're gonna make it a little bit, we're gonna draw it out a little bit more just to make sure, but also this blade is massive for what the customer wants. So we're gonna go ahead and cut a little bit off of the tip here. Now, I drew a couple different designs. This one with the low tip, I think I like a little bit better than this one with the tip up here. Oh, no, it's the one up here that I liked better because the tip is a little bit more in line with my fingers and I have a little bit more control over where the point will be at. So that's gonna end up being our final design. I'm gonna cut it out and then we're gonna forge it a little bit thinner, see how much we can get off of there, and go from there into a heat treat, handle it up, and grind in these flats to then send it off to the customer. Let's go ahead and get started on that. like drills, like just little pocks into the handle. That's so that way the epoxy, when it goes in, it has somewhere to sit and like make a little pocket that will grips there, and the handle doesn't pop in 6 months after some heavy use. So we just want to make sure we have a pocket for that epoxy to go into, and also chamfered these 3/16 pinholes that we made right here. You can see right there. So the reason we do that is so that way our pins will go in a little bit smoother. It also deburrs the hole, and it makes it less of a 90-degree angle. Anywhere you have a 90-degree angle on a knife or anything you're about to harden, that's going to be a stress riser, a point where it's more likely to fail. So just to make sure we don't have any crazy 90-degree angles on this blade, a 90-degree angle, what I'm going to do is just take a file on the outside. This is annealed steel, so all that burrs and all those little rough angles should come out fairly easily, and I could just see them falling right off right now. So yeah, this is not a terrible idea. Anytime I'm about to go into a heat treat, I like to just get the burrs off, make sure everything is nice and rounded on the corners. Now, one thing we're got going on here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we do have a little bit of a warp in the blade, right? So we're going off a little bit to this side because I didn't completely straighten it off of the piece of spring steel that we had. So before this goes into a heat treat, what we're going to do is we're just going to straighten it out. Then we're going to start doing our, what is it called? I forgot what it's called.
Thermocycle.
So let's go ahead and light up the forge. We're going to straighten this out and then get this to start. God, what is that called? What's it called when you do that? I can't remember.
Heat making.
But yeah, I'm really happy with how this knife is turning out. So let's see how it goes. Here's a hack for all of you guys who don't have a kiln or some kind of heat treating oven. Is I'll take a piece of angle iron and put this inside of my forge, right? That way these jets aren't blasting straight down on top of it. So now that angle iron is going to be in there to protect it. We could pop our blade in there, and it's going to evenly disperse heat all around our blade. Have now successfully heat treated. We made a mess doing that, which yeah, it happens sometimes. But heat treat is done. Now we are into our tempering cycles, and now we play the waiting game where we're gonna wait until that's tempered. Once it's tempered, we're gonna grind in those flats, put on a handle, and it's ready to go to the customer. Our kukri is looking sweet. It has now been tempered. It has now been heat treated. It's pretty thick up here at the spine, but at the blade, much thinner. And I really like how this is going. I kind of think this kukri might be cooler than that last one. Don't tell my buddy. But yeah, no, definitely super excited to see how this turns out. We're gonna go ahead and grind off some of this scale. We're gonna put in those flats and start to put a blade on it and then get to the handle. Now, customer actually had a request for the handle material and gave me something to make his handles out of. This. Now, I'm pretty sure this is some curly maple that came out of his grandmother's backyard. This came off of her tree, and this is quite a stick. Stick Nation would be proud. This thing is so cool, and I love the story behind it, and I just feel really happy that I'll be able to take something from his family history and put that into a knife that I hope he'll be able to pass down to, you know, his kids and their kids' kids someday. So super, super hyped about this. We're gonna cut this up, make this into some scales, and slap it onto that bad boy over there. First we're gonna grind, then we're gonna cut, then we'll do a glue up and do some test cuts. All right, looking pretty good. Let's go see if we can strap this and start cutting. Nice. Okay, so we are polished, we are sharp. Last thing we're gonna do is tape this bad boy up and then go ahead and start to put some handle scales on this and get it ready for the finished product. Can't wait to show you guys. I'm gonna chop up that wood and start to do our glue up. All right, so now we've got our handle scales cut out. The camera stopped recording because I ran out of memory for a minute there, but that's all right. So we're gonna go ahead and start to tap some holes in these and get them fitted to the handle itself. And then after that, we're just gonna glue it up, let it set overnight, and then do some finishing work in the morning. Let's do it.
Annealing.
Okay, so glue up is done. So tomorrow we'll get that handle ground down and finish it up, all in a good day's work. Well, our handle is mostly roughed out to the shape that we like. I like this kind of hourglass towards the back. It really feels like my hand just perfectly melds into that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it looks like all together. Oh, and you might be wondering why I look like the bad guy from season 1 of Peaky Blinders. That's because I've got emphysema. That's right, your boy's got emphysema right here on my chin. I trained at a jiu-jitsu gym, and I'm not gonna say what gym I was training at, but let's just say take a shower after you train, no matter where you're at. Whether you think it's the cleanest gym in the world or just some dirty, sweaty shithole, take a shower afterwards. I had to shave my whole beard and chest hair because I have got emphysema. So that's fun. All right, you ready? Unraveling in 3, 2, 1, and oh, look at that. Oh, wow, that just looks pretty incredible together. I'm holding that sharp ass blade, and you might be thinking, Jake, is that thing even sharp? Let's see. So we got this waddy bottle here. Boom. And I'm just gonna give it one of these. Yeah, it's sharp as shit, dude. So that is plenty freaking sharp. Let's see, let's do some test cuts on some paper. Oh, just sails right through it. Yep, that's a sharp knife. So yeah, very happy with how this came out. Now I'm gonna get to editing and doing some other work, but just super happy with how this Kukri has come out. This thing is so sick. I have to do some sanding. So we're going to finish this off with some sanding and treating with our wax. So I make my own mineral oil and beeswax mix. So we're going to treat this with that, make a little sheath for it, and then ship it off to customer. I hope he likes it a lot. And you know what? I had a lot of fun making it. So thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. Make sure you please like, subscribe. All right, guys, so that's it for the Kukri build. I'm really happy with how this came out. I might have to make a couple for myself and my brothers. Now, in our next video, we're going to get back to some basics, some of the things I love to do, making kitchen knives, and we're going to do that using a QMI. So if you would like, please hit like and subscribe. Don't get in Fatigo, then you have to shave a mustache, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.